Hello and welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenor, and tonight I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. This is a horoscope for Aquarius. If Aquarius is your solar, lunar, ascendant / rising sign, then this is a message for you. All right, let's get started. And so our card tonight is the Death card. But don't worry, it doesn't always mean something bad. Oh, and here comes TT. Hi, TT. Let's see what these tea leaves have to say tonight. And so if you have not subscribed, please think about doing that. You can hit the little bell. It'll let you know when the next readings are coming out. Well, hi, baby. Come over here. And it is free to subscribe. Okay. Let's see. I'll tell you what. It went from 65 degrees yesterday, Fahrenheit, to I think it's probably around 5 degrees right now. So within 24 hours, we dropped about 60 degrees. It is pretty cold. And it's very windy here. And so I look at this card and I think, yeah, this is what that weather is. It's one of those nights where the wind comes up and it blows and it blows and it blows everything away. That's what it feels like. It could take the breath right out of you, just grab you. Okay. So where I want to start is right in here. Now we have the Death card and we have that death energy, and if you've watched my readings and you've ever seen the Death card come up, or the Hanged Man or the Tower, I'm one of those rare people that says, well, welcome. Welcome. This means we have some change. We have some kind of blockage in our life. We have something that does not belong here anymore. And it is time for it to begin to go, or maybe it has gone already. And I know that can be difficult. And I know that's a very scary feeling. We spend a lot of our life trying to avoid these kinds of, thoughts, but even more so when things end. We have to begin something else. Oh boy, do we go out of our way to not let that happen. We'll even stay in situations that we know aren't good for us because it feels safe. It might not be healthy, whatever healthy means. It might not be in our best interest. But we stay because it's what we know. Well, here I see we have this beautiful figure. Look at that. A person upright, holding a walking stick, staring up at the sky. We have a beautiful little bird sitting up here in its nest. We have another bird right here carrying a flower. We have another bird here flying, and these are cute little birds. These are little songbirds, and so you can imagine being out there. Maybe I almost think of maybe the Highlands here, out there in those green expanses, the ocean as the backdrop, and it's beautiful. And we look towards the sky and the birds are singing for us. And there's a little bit of freedom there, isn't there? But what does it take to get to that point? You know, sometimes we must be brave. Sometimes we have to do the thing we don't want to do. We have to change our circumstances. We have to, you know, end the friendship, end the relationship, quit the job, take a leap of faith into the next, right? Now, you know me, I'm a big planner. I like to know what's going on. I always have one thing lined up, you know, before I quit the thing I'm doing, right? I don't like the uncertainty of things. But guess what? Life is full of uncertainty, Lenor. I have to get with it sometimes. And so I look at this and yeah, it feels like, have you ever quit a job that you just couldn't handle anymore? I mean, it was really just eating away at you. And you quit that job, and hopefully, you know, you have another thing lined up, so you're not worried, or you have maybe some money saved, so you're not worried. But you quit that job, and then you go home, and you sleep well, and then you wake up the next day, and it is glorious. It just feels like the shackles have been released. Well, I think that is really the energy that we have here, Aquarius. I feel like you are in a place where, you know, it's been so many years. I mean, years, I think, of you kind of biting your tongue, of you doing the things that, they were a benefit to the greater good of the collective, your family, your small community, your workplace. But it has just come to this time in life where you need to figure out what you're going to do for yourself. You're not going to hold back anymore. It's about time somebody was taking care of you. And you're going to be the one. And that's going to be you, right? I think that for a long time you haven't had, you know, the resources, the internal resources, the time. I think that's the big thing, the time to focus on your needs. And so finally, we're here in this place where things have aligned. But you have created this alignment so that you may put yourself, your aspirations, your daydreams becoming manifest. Simplifying a lot of aspects of your living, of your you know, of your worrying, of your the just everything that goes into being basically a caretaker within your own relationship, your family life, and maybe you've raised children, and we all know, you know, that's what you do. You kind of sign on for that. And that's okay. But then there comes a point where they can take care of themselves. They are their own people. And I know it's hard. It's hard to transition out of, you know, being mom, being dad, being grandma, being grandpa all the time, right? But this is it. This is where we're at. And I think you're finally seeing, you know, I think you're finally seeing this. You're the only one that is ever going to be able to live your life. And we know this logically, right? We do. But I think so often we Well, it's like, if there was something to do, a task to be done, it's almost always easier to do it for somebody else. It doesn't feel as much of a chore for some reason as it is to do for yourself. Why is that? I think about this with dinner. If I'm cooking for my family, yeah, of course I don't want to do it every night. I do, but, it's not as bad. I'm happy. I get to make some dinner for the fam. But when it's just me, why would I cook for myself tonight? I'm going to eat some crackers or whatever it is, But it's strange how it's like that. But then you get to, I think you do. You get into a place where you've been taking care of yourself as a priority for a little while. And then, yeah, you do start cooking dinner for yourself. You do start doing the more detailed and extravagant things just for yourself. It doesn't have to be a group of people. It doesn't have to be a spouse or your child. It could be just for you. And I think there's a lot of freedom in realizing that. Now you might say, okay, well, I still have young kids, and I'm married, and we're still in the thick of things. Well, maybe you've decided that I'm going to cut out some time for me, which is difficult too. That's hard. We're all so busy, and we only get busier, and it seems like time gets shorter, doesn't it? But here we are, and I see two boats. We have a boat down here, and we have a boat right here. Okay, and these are kind of sailboats. And when I see the sailboats, I know this is a time where we're clearing energy. We're getting in that boat. We're sailing. We're in movement. And so with the two boats, I feel like maybe this is not only yourself, but like I said, maybe you are married or have a involved relationship. Maybe your kids are still young, or maybe they're older. I don't know, but I do think that this is a sense of everybody kind of getting going in their own way. And I think a lot of it has to do with you setting the example. That's the thing and it's amazing. I think so often, now this isn't always the case. Of course, there are exceptions. But for the most part, I think people really will conform to how we like to be treated if we put the energy out there. I think, maybe as an older person, I've learned this. If I give somebody the impression that they're invited into all of my personal life to know all of the things and comment on them, then they will. Because I have set that tone. But if I have boundaries, and if I, if I just live the life that I want to live, the way I want to live it, not many people have much to say about it. I mean, what can they? There's not room for discussion. And I think that's true of, most people when they're just living their lives. You can sense somebody who is, they're fully realized, or they embody themselves. They have an aura that is full and often quite beautiful, but there is a command there. And you follow their lead. And I think that you are in this part of your life where, yeah, I think people follow your lead. I also think people are very attracted to this energy that you exude. I think that you are somebody that people find quite interesting, intriguing, mysterious, charming, and very, very earthy in a lot of ways. Now, I know we're talking about Aquarius, but there's an earthy quality. I've never known an Aquarius that wasn't very dreamy, right? Very dreamy, maybe a bit eccentric in their own way, but so down to earth. Open and in the ways that they want to be, but also not very judgmental. And so I think as you live this way, you live the way that you are, the people in your life are so inspired to live in their own imagining of their personhood. I think they're more activated in their own life, their own experience. You are a role model. If you want that or not, you are. You are. And we had that bird that had the flower. And I almost wonder if you're finding like little pieces of flower petals, or maybe I was thinking of like the trees blooming early, or flowers kind of being blown onto your doorstep. It's very specific, but it feels like that. Now we have an I and an A. Maybe you're from Iowa. But they do, or it could be LA, but it looks like an I and an A. It could be your name or somebody's name, or a word or a phrase. Now, let's see. We have quite a beast here. It looks like it looks like a horse. It kind of looks like a deer. It kind of, I think something like this, like maybe a moose even, with its large feet. But I think really what it comes down to is this gracefulness, but there's a virility there. It is powerful movements, strides forward. I can just feel, it's like, it reminds me of like Qui-Gon or something, kind of cutting through with the movements, with the passes and postures, being aligned, being so aligned with the spirit mixed into the physical world, finding ways to express that feeling, that connectedness, feeling like gliding, like you know, I think of like on the Matrix, right? Where they're moving perfectly to, you know, to bend time and space. And I feel like sometimes you just get into that place where it is magnificent, right? I feel like you are on a level of it feels like maybe psychic ability. But it's even, I mean, it's just, it's more than just clairvoyance or the many kinds of clairvoyance, right? But it is something more akin to a sorcerer, a magician, a creator, the architect. And that's, I think, where you have stepped into. The door is open and your foot is in the next. And as you come into this place of great power, your love travels with you. But so much of that old stuff, it's like a crumbling castle behind you. The hurt, the resentment, the things that held you in that place where you felt like you could not move. You have been brave and you've released yourself. You are the stallion, the stag. There's no stopping you. It's like you swim through the air. You just know the way. And this will be a beautiful time, and it will be a time of revelation. Now we have a person standing up here next to the coyote, the trickster. But more than the trickster, I mean, it is the trickster as well. This is a revealer. This is a guide. As you are shedding old things, it might feel a little bit like you are somewhat aimless. It might feel like the home that was home does not feel so much like home anymore, because you are changing. And so you are visited. And your guides will be with you, and they will be talking to you. They will be dreaming with you. They will be bringing you visions. I think you already know this. And maybe in some little way you might feel even a little bit resentful, because it does. It feels like you are sometimes on shifting sands, where you might have felt so rooted before. This is my home. This is where I will spend the rest of my life. I've worked so hard for this. This is what makes sense to me. And so now the sun has gone down and the sun has come back up, and it feels unlike it was before. And that can be painful. And that can be grief. But you are a creature to be beheld. You are something more powerful than you know. Maybe you know. Maybe you do know. But this is it. This is a time of, I mean, it is. It's transformation. Self-evolution. This activation is intense. It is. And so what will you do with it, my friend? What will you do with it? So immediately as I turn this, I see we have a person with their hands to the sky in a devotional posture. And you are devoted. And that's part of what has gotten you here. You have faith. Now, it doesn't matter what it's in. Hopefully, it's within yourself. And hopefully, it manifests as something that is meaningful to you, that brings you to grace. Because this is the source of that love that is beyond love. We loved with a love that is beyond love. Right? A beautiful poem about death. Sad poem. But beautiful. It does though. It brings you to the love that transcends all things. And now maybe we can have this with other people, but I have always thought of it as the love we have with the divine. And at the end of the day, strengthening our ability to express that kind of love, to have it within our most sacred relations. That is beyond powerful. The closer we get to, the cosmos, God, the divine goddess, whatever it is, the more it is expressed in the way that we are with our children, with our beloveds, with our lovers, with our, kin. And so you are in this place of, it feels like a beginning of splendor to me. It's not easy, but nothing that is worth it is. There goes TT, having some supper, chomping away. Okay, let's see what these doors have to say tonight. I'm going to stop where it feels right. And this one's pretty. You can see the moon up there. Draw down the moon. The forest nymphs dance in sheer delight, singing soft songs. Find us in the wild. Good night. Sounds like you are invited to the mysteries. Some kind of bacchanalian fun. And so I hope you go. I hope that you go. Go and dance underneath the moon. Well, Aquarius, I want to tell you I love you, and I do, and I do. And I thank you for spending this time with me. It is always such an honor to be able to bring these messages to you. And if you would be so kind as to like the video, it helps the channel so much. And if you have not subscribed, please think about doing that. You can hit that little bell. It'll let you know when the next videos are coming out. And what else? If you'd like to leave a comment, please do. I read them all, and they mean so much to me. Just don't be mean. No, you can be mean. I'm still going to delete it, though. I might shed a little tear, but I'll delete it. I have no shame. I don't know how people just put up with the people are just cruel. I mean, listen, I've grown up on the internet, at least since I was 13 or so. So I know what the internet's like, but I'll tell you what, I don't have the thick skin for it all the time. So, but let me just say, I've met some of the most wonderful people through this channel, and I appreciate it. I'll put up with some of the mean grumpy grumps on there, if I have to, because it's all been a blessing. Everything's been a blessing. And so I appreciate all of you, and I love you, and I love you. And oh, let me just mention, I should have mentioned it earlier. I put up a post about it, but my husband and my husband, who is Dove and Serpent Tarot, his name is Paul. If you haven't seen his channel, go check it out. He's amazing. We have had a lot of, clone scammer profiles on like other social media a lot, like on Facebook or I think TikTok, there were some, and probably other places. I just want to clarify, we will never message you. We will, the only way that you can get a hold of us for the business is through our emails or on the comments. We both have membership Discord. So if you become like a channel member, then you can use the Discord, which is like a chat room kind of. We are there we have our own respective Discords. But if anybody is telling you like Paul, he doesn't do Dove and Serpent Tarot does not do private readings. So if you see a thing saying, I'll do a private reading, we absolutely do not do spell work. We don't do anything like that. I saw one thing, it said like, we'll do a spell for against like your ex boyfriend or girlfriend or whatever. We don't do these kinds of things. So don't believe the hype. And if you see a comment or an account like on Facebook, please report it. If you are questioning, is this really Lenor or Paul? Is it Ula or Dove and Serpent Tarot? You can email us. Our emails are in each description on all of the videos. There's mine is ulaishere@gmail.com. So if you don't know, you can email me. Okay, and I will verify if it's us or if it's not us or whatever. So please just be careful out there. I know this happens to a lot of channels, and I know you all are pretty savvy. But sometimes it's even hard. One of them I had to ask my husband, did you make this account? Because it looks like they just copied everything from, some other, from his page and stuff. So, it's hard to tell sometimes. Even I got fooled a little bit. So anyways, be safe out there on the interwebs. We love you, and we don't want any of these scammer people getting one over on anybody. I would be very mad about that. So anyways, we'll talk in a few days. I love you. Take care of yourself. Good night. TT, say good night. She says good night. Bye-bye.